Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Napua.
So, we're here today to talk about your upcoming seminar, The Restoration of Success.
Yes, in Switzerland.
Yes. Would you like to start by giving us your definition of success?
I think what success is that there's love and happiness. It has to be a holistic type of thing. And if you're not happy, if you don't have love in your life, then what's it all about anyhow? You're just getting different pieces of colored paper and things like this. And certainly, abundance is part of happiness. So to me, this is what it's all about. And how to have love and happiness is all about relationships. Now, what I have found is that there's no problem that isn't a relationship problem. And that goes right into the subconscious. So, money problem, a success problem, that's really a relationship problem. And there are patterns of relationships. See, it's like if a person is bankrupt now, or they're working so hard but not making any effort. What's happening is that there's a whole pattern that comes from the past that goes back into childhood, and those kind of patterns can be cleared easily. And actually, they start in the womb. And there's even things passed down ancestrally and at a soul level, and they can be changed. It's not all that difficult. It's just that we human beings, we have so many patterns in the way. So success is living your purpose, because that's your fulfillment. You can tell how much you're living your purpose by how fulfilled you are in life. And so when you're giving yourself fully to life, it's life shows itself to you. She gives you her heart back. And of course, then we all have things to heal, because we all have split minds. We have thousands of splits in our mind. And on the conscious level, we think we want success. But there's all these other things that we want instead. We want things like independence, or we want revenge, or we want to defeat someone. And all of these lead us away from success. Here's an interesting one. When you're having a fight with someone, both you and the other person are actually afraid to go to the next level of intimacy and success. If you're competing with someone, now competition basically gets started in our unbonded families. And there's something better than competition. It's cooperation. Because you need the other person working with you, whether it's sports or to find your personal best, to help spur you on, to give it your all, and to find a new and better way. So we actually need to work together with that. But competition, you pay attention to, not to success, you pay attention to winning. And that can be quite a bit different than actually moving forward with success. Now, we call it the restoration of success, because what I've found is that we are all successful. We are naturally successful. As spirit, we're unlimited. We're joyful, we're loving, but we have covered it up with so many tens of thousands of self-concepts that have become our ego. And by the age of 19, we don't need it anymore. It's the walls between us that stop us from receiving. It throws us into sacrifice. It keeps us dissociated so we can't enjoy our rewards, our wins. So now, restoration is getting back to the core self, that core self that's already loving, that's already happy. Let me take it from another angle. If you were an Olympic gold winner, would you believe that you're a successful person? Would you have that confidence that you need?
Yes, I would.
Well, you're even more than that, because for the sperm that made you to join the egg that made you, it swam basically what would be the length of the Atlantic Ocean. And then when it got there to the egg, it did this dance contest. It had this dance marathon going on saying, pick me, choose me. I'm going to be the one. And then you were chosen, and it made you. So already from the beginning, we have these patterns of success. But we also from the very womb itself, we take on these other patterns. Like anything going on around you when you're in the womb, you take it on. If your parents are having a fight, you take it on. It sets up, negative patterns going through your life. People aren't aware of that. That's all in the subconscious mind. And then there's even deeper aspects in the unconscious mind. For instance, the collective, for the last 7 years, there's been this downturn in the economics of the world. So abundance, a lot of people are really, really struggling. But you could clear your personal pattern through your life, through your childhood, through the womb, through the ancestral pattern, through the soul pattern, and then bring that success, that love into the collective and help the whole world. You don't have to be stopped by those kinds of limitations, and that's what we're here to discover. Here's an interesting principle of success. We don't know that all of our suffering comes from grievances and from the idea that we're sinners or we're guilty. So basically, grievances is a defense. Judgment is a defense that hides the sense of guilt and failure. Now, the good news about this is these emotions aren't true. It's true that we have them, but they're not ultimately true, which is why healing can occur. They can be changed. So if you clear these patterns of grievances, and in the subconscious, everything is turned upside down from the conscious mind. We don't realize that where we were wounded, we actually made the choice to use that to separate from the situation. We were actually hard-hearted. We could have saved the situation if we weren't afraid to shine, if we weren't afraid to bring in these beautiful soul gifts, receive heaven's gift, embrace our purpose and our destiny, and bring that energy into the situation, even as little children, even as babies, even in the womb. And it could completely transform these experiences for us and the people around, so it changes their patterns also. So what we've told us is like, well, I righteously have this grievance. We're completely wrong about it. And it sets up this hard sacrifice and these hard lives, and it's just not necessary. Let me give you one example from a First Nations fella in Canada. He was a fellow who, as a boy, had been sexually abused, basically on a daily basis by his proctor. All the children, the Canadian First Nations children, were sent to Christian schools to be made good Canadians and to be taken out of their culture. They weren't allowed to talk to their brothers and sisters. But what happened was all the sexual predators of North America gravitated toward these schools. And they estimate 90% of the children were raped or molested on a daily basis. When that boy was 9 years old, he stood up to his proctor and he said, "Never again will you touch me." And the proctor didn't touch him, but a week later sent a gang of the older kids with baseball bats. They caught him in the gym and they beat him so hard that he was in the hospital for 6 months. He had me put his hand across his forehead. There wasn't a smooth place on his forehead. Everything was knotted and bumped and cracked and things like this. When he came, he was so angry. He had just had a court case, and he feel at the end of it, after 2.5 years, his lawyer sold him out and suggested he go for this tiny little settlement for all the things that had happened to him. So he had such rage that he would go into his village every night, get drunk, and go to all the bars looking for fights. He had a number of people to forgive. The Queen for setting up this program, the lawyer for, he felt, and most of all, the fellow who had raped and molested him. And he was able to come to a level of understanding with the support of his wife, where he was able to bring forgiveness into this situation and forgive the lawyer and forgive the Queen and forgive the man who had molested him for years. And at the end of it, he had gone from this surly, angry fellow full of rage to he was just beaming and shiny. We had never seen him open his mouth. He had always talked and kind of mumbled. He only had 3 teeth in his mouth from all of his fights. But it's like he was just ecstatically happy that he had finally let a whole huge layer of his past behind, and he could start living from the now. We later heard the people in his village didn't recognize him when he got home because he was always smiling. He was always happy. No more fights. And he and his wife just took a whole new chapter in their life, a whole new chapter of success. We don't realize that what's stopping us are all these hidden things below the surface, and there's actually easy ways to find it, and you can make another choice, and you can invite love in where there was hatred, and you can transform these things with the gifts that are inside. There's no problem you're in that you don't have a soul gift that would transform this. That heaven isn't giving you a gift or a miracle to transform the trap you're in so that you become more yourself, you become more true. Your split mind joins so you want one thing. Your purpose, your destiny, all of it makes you happy and you shine. So don't be afraid of shining. Be who you came to be. And these are some of the things that we'll get into in our 10 days at the Restoration of Success.
Chuck, thank you so much. It sounds like a courageous journey.
And it's an exciting one, too. It's that inner adventure to know who you really are.
Thank you.